Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith. Welcome to the Grow Tent, everybody. You have found the best growing channel on YouTube, man. The place where we simplify the approach for you so everyone can learn how to grow. We make it so simple, even I can understand. So I'm going to listen and learn right now.
Woo! What's up, Spartans? How's it going? We got a fantastic episode for you guys today. What we're going to be talking about today is another tips and tricks video. Just little things I do in the garden that make my life easier, and I think they can make a lot of your guys' lives easier too. Just little things that you don't think about too much, but will help you in your day-to-day activities. But first, guys, are you sick and tired of your plants not coming out the way you see other people's on Instagram or YouTube or anything like that? You tired of not knowing the answer to your question right when you want to know it? There's a helpful solution. Join our Patreon. Get direct contact with me, GT, and I can help you through your entire grow. We can do video consults. If we don't want to do videos, we can just do right over the phone, but we can sit down just like this and do consults while we live stream look at your plants. And we do that every single month, all the way through your grow. Join the Patreon. Guys, also remember this channel is sponsored by Mars Hydro. If you're looking for a new light or anything else, use the links in the video description below and put in WTTGT and get yourself an extra discount at checkout. Remember to check out my snake channel. It's at Spartan Pythons and Tarantulas. There's a link for that in the video description below. Also, guys, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Watch the full video. Let's get today's episode started. It's going to be a quick one. Let's go. Woo! Let's go. All right, guys, we are back, and it's another tips and tricks video. Every once in a while, I'll be answering an email or something like, oh, that's kind of a good thing. I need to just tell everybody, the way I do it, because like some of these little things that I do, I don't really think about whenever I'm doing it, and it's usually not big enough by itself to make a video on. But what I think I'm going to start doing is, usually I like to drop like 20, 25-minute long videos because, GT likes to talk. But I think we're going to start doing these, kind of like whenever I did that little metal hanger where I got rid of those big long hangers they come with and I just made some out of a coat hanger. I think we're going to do, a few of these like 5-6 minute videos where I just kind of do little things that don't really deserve their own episode, but at the same time, they do really help you out with the grow, and you don't get a lot of people talking about them because, it's it's a very limited aspect of growing. You're gonna, some of these tricks you're like, oh, that's silly, GT. Why are you even talking about it? Well, some of them might be silly, but for some person it might be like, oh, okay, yeah, that's way better than the way I was trying to do it, or something like that. And so my first one is dealing with the tower fans. These tower fans that we all put in our tents. Well, hopefully you put them in your tent. I think it's the best kind of tent or fan you can have in your tent is a tower fan, because that column blade of air can push through the canopy so well. And instead of having a regular fan, we've got the tower fan, which it pushes that blade of air through there. I think it keeps powdery mildew away way better than any other fan. Those tower fans, because they push like a straight column of air. But that's not what I'm not just talking about the way that fan works. My big tip is whenever you first put plants into your bigger tent, like you've come from seedling, and now you're going into your veg tent, and you've got your tower fan in there because the seedling don't have a tower fan. But a lot of times the fan is really strong, and you'll see it like pushing your seedlings over, pushing your young veg plants over, and you're like, oh, I can't even turn the fan on because it's too strong and it's pushing my plants over, and I'm worried about them. Take your tower fan. I know this is going to seem silly. Just turn it around. Face it towards the wall of your tent. It doesn't have, when they're that little, you're not worried about getting the air completely through the canopy to the other side. You just want some air circulation in your tent. So just take your fan and spin it around towards the wall. That way the wall is taking the blunt force of the fan, but it's still, that air doesn't just disappear when it hits the wall. It goes around the tent. It bounces around. And since the wall is taking the brunt force of it, there's still air circulation in the tent. It doesn't have to be on. You just turn it all the way to low and spin it towards the wall. If you're on my Instagram, people will be on there like, GT, your fan's facing the wrong way. Yeah, I know my fan's facing the wrong way. I turned it that way. You think, nope, yep. Sorry, that you know what, you're right. That fan is backwards. I completely, oh man. No, it's because when the plants are little, if you just spin your tower fan around, let the wall take the brunt of it, you'll be way happier, and so will your plants because they're not getting pushed over by those very, very strong tower fans that I like to run. I don't know if you like to run them or not, but they're my favorite fan for growing, and that's my tip number one. And it took me 3 minutes to explain that. Okay, maybe the videos will be like 7 or 8 minutes. All right, tip number two coming up now. All right, Spartans, let's get ready for part two. I guess you guys are already ready, but I was getting ready. I was having a draw on our... Oh, go get the camera ready, GT. Jesus Christ, you guys okay in there? Sorry, I didn't mean... got a little crazy there for a second. But I'm doing handheld cam today because my big one is down... My big one. My big stand is downstairs, so I have my little stand that usually is like my desktop stand that I'm holding the phone with today. And sorry if the microphone is going in and out because my good stuff is all down in the basement and it is dead, so I have to charge it. All right, so today we're going to be talking, the second tip that we have is your plant's position into how fast they dry out in the tent, which is why sometimes, you have some of your plants that are on one side of the tent that need water and then other plants don't yet. So how do we address that? So that's what we're going to do right now. So buckle up. Let's go. Let's turn this camera around, GT. All right. So we got the camera turned around. We've got our 5x5 set up here. You can see we have our 5x5 and we have our T is our tower fan. And then we have 6 plants sitting in their drip trays in the garden here or in the tent. So what you'll notice is these plants that are closer to the tower fan, they are going to dry out way faster than your plants that are over here. Well, sometimes this one back here for some reason dries out a little quicker, but let's stay on point. These ones over here by the fan are always going to dry out way quicker than the ones over on the far side of the tent. And how do we fix that? How do we address it? And I address it with water runoff. So normally whenever we are watering till runoff, we're looking for about 10% runoff to let us know that we are done watering. Well, I don't want to water half, some of my plants on day 5 and then other plants on day 7. That doesn't work for me. I don't want to be in there messing with the water, mixing up nutrients, doing whatever. I don't want to do it that much. So I am going to cheat the system a little bit. And so these plants that are closer to the 5x5, these plants right here that are closer to this tower fan, I am going to water till 30% runoff. Okay? And then you can see how I tier it down depending on how far away the plants are from the fan. Normally we're going for this right here. We're going for 10% runoff whenever we're watering. But since these are so close to the fan, I will water these till 30% runoff, which is about 1/3 of your drip tray. And within the next 12 hours, these plants are going to suck it up from the tray back into the plant. But what you'll notice is by tiering your runoff like this, all of them will, all 3 rows will be ready for water on the same day because we are compensating for these plants and with how close they will be to the tent. And say, GT, isn't that going to be overwatering? No, because overwatering is something you do too often. It is not a volume problem. I could go in any one of these and give them 10 gallons of water and that plant at one time, and that plant is not going to be overwatered. Now it's going to flush all the nutrients out of the system, but that's a video about flushing. But I can put 10 gallons of water through, the plant won't be overwatered. A little excess will all just run out. The plant will hold what it holds, and it will dry out at the normal rate, because that's how wet you should be getting. Your soil should be saturated whenever you're watering. Oh, God, get on topic, GT. Focus. Calm down. Relax. So, all right, I'm back. So, by giving these just a little bit extra, they dry out at the same time. And since they dry out at the same time, you spend less time in the tent. You don't have anywhere near the amount of watering. So like, because at the end of the day, these plants over here, if you were watering, before, because they dry out sooner, this plant's over here, you might water every 7 days. And this plant, what the heck just happened to my light in here? Well, that was crazy. And these plants over here, you might be watering every 4 days or every 5 days instead. So you'll end up going through your feed, water, feed schedule sooner in these plants than you will in these plants. And then you'll be feeding these plants 1 week, and then next thing you know, you'll be feeding these plants the next week, and now everything's off, and now you're trying to maintain what is what in your garden. Okay? Class dismissed. No. So just by doing that one simple little trick, it can save you big headaches in your garden. You have to spend less time in it. You spend less time with your garden. It's going to turn out in big yields. So pay less attention to them. I promise you it'll work out. All right, guys, that's been my tips and tricks video for today. We got another video dropping tomorrow also, so make sure you watch for that one. I'll see you guys next time. GT.